Here's a helper video for the tutorial 2 of the club, and this is figure 755. Here's the end product of what we're going for. We're going to have 2 symmetrical gable roofs, and we're also going to have a flat roof on our building, and this comes from the book. We'll also show a little bit of how to read the book in comparison to following the directions for it. I've jumped over to the website that goes with the textbook, Exploring Autodesk Revit, and I'm going to scroll down to find some of the files that are available to us, and let's go tutorial files. And for myself, I had a little problem with my building, so I'm just going to pick up using the book's resources. There are 3 parts to this particular tutorial, and they're asking us to first start out to create the floor. And one thing they'd like us to do is to turn off all the extra tags, and we're going to do that. We're going to type VV. And this will give us our visibility graphic overrides for the floor plan. And we're going to go look in here, and then asks us to look for the annotations. So we'll go to annotations, and we're going to turn off, and you can see these tabs that run along here. Let's go turn off elevations, off, grids. Okay, so it's remembering the last time I was in here, and maybe for you, you will have to turn them off. But it remembers me, so we will look at sections, everything off, and then you would say apply, and then OK, and then you're back in your scene. Let's add the floor to our model. Go to architecture, we'll look for floor, see what else is in there. There's floor structure, floor by face, and floor slabs. So we'll do floor architectural. Here is the first floor that we're given as an example, and we'll use that for now until we go. The book tells us otherwise. We will come through, and it says extend to wall. Make sure that we have extend to wall is checked. The pick walls tool, and no offset on this one. Move the cursor near the exterior wall. Make sure that you have the pick walls tool. We have extend to the wall core. Move the cursor near it, then press tab key. And so sometimes it will do the whole thing at once, which is great. But it's not doing that for me now, so I'm just going to go ahead and march around the building with separate clicks. A tool is great when it works the first time, but we make sure that we have everything enclosed. The magenta line signifies that, so we can make sure that we have a concrete floor in place, concrete with metal deck, which is the one we want, and then we say OK. And it has been inserted, and we can go into our 3D mode, verify, and go underneath. And there's indeed a floor slab, covers very nicely. So we'll go back and around. I just noticed that this particular model already has a roof because it's been imported, so I will delete them so we can start fresh. But let's just take a look at the condition. Even on this model that's been given, there's a little boo-boo on both of these. So don't stress out if you don't get it right, because even the textbook didn't deliver it. Okay, enough of that. Let's delete, delete, delete. What you see below is the ceiling grid, and that's added just like a floor. It's relatively easy, so I won't go through it in this particular video. But if you need it, we can come back and revisit. Those of you who did a very good ceiling grid in the previous assignment on the rectangle apartment showed that you understand the ceiling grid. Now we're going to make a roof. In the project browser, I'm going to make sure I'm on the correct level. Double click the roof, and then visibility graphics we'll remove this. So I'm going to select VV, type it, and just like we did before, I'm going to remove the, we did before, it's going to be the elevations, floor tags, grids, and sections. All turned off. I'm going to apply, say OK. And that really cleans up the board, so gives me a clear shot. I sometimes like to leave the interior walls, but remember, they're not going to go to the roof, so they could also complicate things too. Let's go for the roof. We're going to go to our architecture tag. We're going to go to roof. And if you scroll down, you can see that there's roof by footprint, by extrusion, and roof by face in different conditions. So we're going to do roof by footprint. And we're going to choose pick walls. And then we get our options dialog box, which is that light green box that hangs out over any particular function you choose. And let's go and answer these conditions. We want to define a slope because we have a sloped roof for this first one right here. The overhang is going to be 4 feet. So with my slope condition, I'm going to come in and adjust that after I lay down this roof. Okay, so we're going to do pick walls, so let's pick them. 1. That first one didn't take, but we're just doing this particular wing first. And an important thing about roofs and floors and ceiling grids is that the magenta line must be completely enclosed. And we see we have a gap here. So we're going to come by and use our fillet tool to make that. And then we're going to take a look and see what we got. We'll accept that. Yes, we'll attach. Okay, so we have a message coming on, but I'm sure things are solved. And it's asking about these interior walls, but that's what we want. So we're okay with that. So we'll keep moving forward. Let's take a look at it. A very fine roof has been created. But now we want to adjust the angle of this roof to match what our book says. So that's a secondary condition. I'm going to go back to the roof plan. I'm going to select the roof. And then when I do select it, then I get the chance to work with the angles. Make sure that your base level is on roof. And then here we're going to change this to 0, 0, 0. And our pitch is going to change from this to 4 inches. We're going to press apply. And we're going to press Control to make sure that all of these have the same. Come back through and check. They're all the same. And then we can go ahead and accept. We're going to attach. And things have attached to the roof. Then we're asked to switch the roof material. So let's choose it. And it is the roof insulation on metal deck. So I must have already chosen that. And okay, we will create a roof. We're going to choose our first one. We're going to choose this to give us that nice cut through. And then we're going to go to boundary line and we're going to draw in the other sections. I'll just run them out perpendicular. Escape. Using some geometry, I'm just going to run them out perpendicular. Then I'm going to go in for a standard trim. Everything is clean. It looks like it's all aligned. And then I'm going to make sure that it goes to the roof. It's got its offset, and let's accept it. And we will attach. Highlighted walls are attached to, but miss the highlighted targets. Okay, so It doesn't like being in between like that. So that's a point where we could correct. But let's just see. Close. We'll choose OK. Some of these fixes take time, so we're going to come back and fix that if we need to. But let's take a look at if we moved along. Yes. So we can see that the roof is installed. There's a mistake right there. But don't let that stop us. So let's go. So we can always do our fixes later. The hard part is getting the flat roof and getting the other one. And now we're going to mirror this roof over to this side, and at least we'll be 90% done. And then if you do want to see the fix on this, I'll make a separate video that will come through and fix this. Okay, the book tells me to come through and make sure that I have certain things turned off before I do my mirror. And I could type VV for visibility graphics, or I can go here in the properties browsers in here and make sure that I go to categories. And it's asking me to turn off the grids off. And then do I have a section off? We'll keep that off. Apply. Okay. And now I'm ready to make a mirrored move. I want to save some time for you, so I'm going to suggest that you do this architecture, get a model line, go in your helping lines, which I do all the time in all my computer programs anyway. And then I can do my mirrored line. I'm going to go to modify, choose the roof, choose the mirror, go to my line, and then saving some time, because it does take a while to get to it, I can simply erase this, but I will keep it in place. And now I remember the roof that I had sent to the lower realms. Let's go to elevation north. You'll find it. There it is sitting on the ground. I'll choose. Let's see if I can just choose it. Okay. Got it. Send that back up to roof level. And yes, we're going to attach. Okay. Okay, so we do have a condition here where the walls are poking through, so we can go make some adjustments now. And we're going to go, instead of this being unconnected, where it just goes the height, we're going to stop it. We'll send it to the roof, see what that does for it. And now we have to make our, picking all the walls to make sure that they do that. And when you're versatile enough, you can work in 3D as well. So an example, send that to the roof. Apply. And that is cleaned up. We'll see if this is the same thing, but I think there's a parapet wall on that. So we've done pretty good. Let's see what the elevation is looking like thus far. Okay, the two roofs appear equal. And in 3D. Okay, so we've made a mirror, we've made a flat wall, and now we have cleanup, little cleanup here and there. But if you can get to this point, you're doing good, and we'll see you in the next video.